Hello guys and welcome back. This is Mr. Siege. Now today I wanted to make a bit of a beginner's guide for you guys that are just getting into Siege or just entering KVK2, because now you can get range commanders, your epic range commanders for KVK2, which is amazing. So a lot has changed recently. Obviously they've been added to the game. I believe new equipment is going to be added to the tavern for you KVK2 players. So that's fantastic, and you can get to use range, see what it's like in the early game. Obviously not KVK1 initially, and for that obviously we'll go through other suggestions obviously in this video. So I'm Mr. Siege, obviously, as I said. If you haven't seen me before and you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you stick around. Don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously. Now, some great things recently in the Siege group, and obviously it's all from me, because we have new Mr. Siege merch. All new merch, guys. There's lots of different logos, designs, really great quality stuff, really comfortable. Now it's not just t-shirts, we've got all sorts. My new Mr. Siege mug even got a talent tree on there with pew pew, like pew pew on there. So you know, different colors, guys. You can change it from blue, yellow, green, pink. If you're a lady that plays the game, you know, pink mugs, Mr. Siege has got it for you. And I've also been trying this wireless charger. So stick your phone on there, fits most phones. Don't know if you can see it. Siege Gang, and actually seems to be working all right. Now I'm going to test it out a little bit. Now, if you've got any questions, just stick me, some questions on the Discord Siege channel, which you should all be members of right now. And if you're not, in the description for this video, you can go ahead to my merch site. You can join the Discord channel if you haven't already, and it'd be great to see you there. Any questions you want to ask will be answered by great Siege players, just like myself, Mr. Siege, of course. Now, I also have a Mr. Siege pen, and this is actually going to somebody that's been very helpful for the Siege group in terms of data-wise, collecting data and putting it into a spreadsheet for me, along with a t-shirt, which I will show you on a future video, which I've not got yet, not finished yet. So yeah, really good, guys. Now let's crack on this video. So if you're new to Rise of Kingdoms and you plan on investing heavily into Siege, or you want to try Siege out, this is the video for you. An early game Siege guide, and I will tell you as much as I know about getting started, because I know plenty of you are starting the game. There's always new people starting the game, and I want you to stick around and yeah, follow my videos. There's loads on this channel. I've got over 200 videos of Siege gameplay. I've got some live streams of Siege fighting, and yeah, just go and check it all out if you can. Up to you, of course. You don't have to. So first of all, what is Siege? Now, you've obviously seen commanders, and if you've just started the game, you're going to get Siege commanders, and they will generally be coming like gathering commanders. You know, you've got your Matilda of Flanders, you'll have commanders like Cleopatra and Sion d'Arc. Now, yes, they are technically Siege commanders, gathering commanders, but in terms of fighting in KVK, you're going to want to invest in engineering commanders. And to be fair, you can go and look this way, click in the corner, click engineering, and you come up with all available engineering commanders. Your legendary commanders are only available in Season 3 or later, so you'll only have the choice of these two commanders, Narcissus and Catherine. So Narcissus and Catherine aren't too bad. I mean, in Season 2, I think they're going to do a fantastic job, but I have not been in Season 2 for a long time. So guys, get hold of these commanders and give them a try. You really want them expertised in Season 2, and if you've just started the game, it might be worth saving up those epic heads, epic stars, and get these commanders maxed. Now, I personally would run Narcissus primary because the healing factor is so much better, and you can keep that march alive for longer. Now, again, in other videos, I've done testing on which commander pairs are best and which order to have those commanders. So go and check those out before you fully invest. You don't need to get both commanders to level 60, but you will need to get the skills to 5 expertise. So once you've done that and you invest in the commanders, you'll see here we have equipment. So you won't be able to get a hold of a legendary of your legendary equipment in KVK2. I believe this is a bit later. I may be wrong, but I think you can only get hold of epic equipment in KVK2. So go and check that out, guys. But you don't really need to use epic equipment initially. You'll be absolutely fine with these harvester sets, okay? Your elite sets. And if you can special talent them for engineering, you're going to be well on your way to a pretty decent march. Now, you can pick up accessories for kind of cheap compared to your legendary accessories, and these will do wonders on the field, to be honest with you. You'll take less counterattack with Delane's amulet. That's ranged counterattack because it's counter damage of all types. That's 5%, which is a decent amount. And also silent trial, which can be very useful indeed. So whenever you launch any type of basic attack, that includes a ranged basic attack, your target will lose 10 rage, and that will also help your other members on the field fighting against those melee marches. They're not going to be generating rage quite as fast if you're using your silent trial, so it could be very useful, especially in KVK2 if you can get hold of them, but they aren't that easy to get hold of. So what is range and what is firing at range? And let's send out my fifth setting, so you can actually save your settings on each march. You can have each march set in a slot, and obviously you can send them out a lot quicker. Now, there's a few ways of actually setting up a ranged tower, and before you set up a ranged tower, you have to set your march to V formation. So go into your commander lineup, you'll click on this formation setting. Now, to get into tower mode, you'll need to have V formation on your march, and that's, you click on this middle button here and select V formation, and that's only, at the moment, this is the only formation that allows you to set up a tower, and I'll show you how to set up a tower in a second. Now, for this formation, you can then go and select armaments, and these armaments take a lot of time to basically generate, to pick up, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, from dispatch and traveling. And there's also other events and stuff you can pick up armaments and chests to unlock these armaments. And obviously you want to try and be able to get siege stats on these armaments and decent inscriptions if you can. So once you've got all your inscriptions set up, as you can see on here, you've got half decent stats and some decent inscriptions. Inscriptions make a big difference. If you want to know which inscriptions are going to be best for a ranged march, I have done an inscription video. It's slightly old, so I will need to do an updated one in the future. Now, let's go and take a look how you obtain these items, your armaments as such. So you'll build a state forum, and again, that's probably City Hall 16 that you can actually build this in your city. And you can either send out your troops to collect these rewards. Obviously, it takes a certain amount of time. You probably take like 7 or 8 hours for a legendary chest. And obviously, you can go through all these different armaments and pick these up over time. Now, you can also click on the state forum again, and you've got the option to travel. Traveling requires you to pick a commander, and once you've chosen your commander of choice, these 4 up here are supposed to be better. So it gives you suggestions for your best options of getting better rewards, or potential chance of getting better rewards. So you travel with Ra's Beloved today, and you could get lucky. So there's a higher chance. Although I travelled with Cordoba a few times and got a bit lucky. So we're going to spend 30 gems here to travel. I've used all my chances up today. And triple siege stat, it doesn't matter on this formation, tertio formation, but there we go, that's Mr. Siege look, triple siege stat. Can't ask for more than that, apart from it would be on V formation and better stats, of course. I mean, I think that deserves just to try again, doesn't it? Another two siege stats. Again, it's a poor armament. It's just an epic armament. Right, enough spending gems. So once you've got all your formations set up, that will then allow you to change into a tower. So when you click on your march, you'll see this appear. And this button here will then allow you to position your tower anywhere on the map, as long as you're not over like a city location like this, or over a node. You can see the red ring around, even barbarians. So you are limited on where to set up a little bit. And if there's other towers in the location, that green ring around there will also be unavailable to set up. So if someone else is in a better position than you, and you know you're struggling to get right next to them, if you've got a load of towers set up, then you know that's an issue. So clicking the positioning your tower and clicking the tick will then set Margaret off to set up the tower in the position of choice. And then it takes 8 seconds to actually build up the tower, or 7 or 8 seconds. It's actually really confusing which one. And then you can choose to attack different marches on the field, or barbarians, or whatever you choose to attack. Now, another way of actually setting up a tower is just to drag your march to an enemy. So I won't waste this opportunity to use AP. AP is very important. As you can see, your action points. So AP, aka action points. And you get a limited amount every day. You get a daily action point recovery, which is quite nice, 500 action points there. And obviously you need to be using that sparingly. So if I drag Margaret then to attack this barbarian over here, once that barbarian is in range, which it's walking out of range right now, so I'll re-drag it again. You can cancel your build up. I'll then drag it into range again. And this allows it to instantly start firing as soon as that tower is set up. We'll give it a few seconds. It's a little bit slow to react. And as you can see, your tower is doing damage to the barbarian, and the barbarian is walking towards it because you've sort of attracted it over. Now, obviously, by doing this, you know, you're not taking damage but from troops over here. You're taking a small amount of damage. But what you're going to be careful of is if someone on the field, your enemies, comes to then attack your tower, you're in a very vulnerable situation because there isn't a great distance from your tower to the edge here, and you will have to dismantle your tower to basically escape. If you're murderable, and that's a group of players that are fighting in front of you or around you, disappears, which is a bad sign, you're going to need to get out of there, or you're going to take a swarm and it's going to end pretty badly for you. So after Margaret's finished killing the barbarian, I can then dismantle the tower. Now, there's a couple of ways of dismantling a tower. You can click on the tower and press this button here, and that will then take the 8 seconds to dismantle. Or you can drag your tower away, drag it into a node, which obviously provides a faster escape, or straight back to your city. So if I drag it to a node, you can then see the towers starting to dismantle again, taking that 8 seconds. It's quite a long time, and as you can see, the march doesn't move that quickly. So something to be aware with siege march is obviously siege are the slowest troop type, and obviously being the slowest troop type, they can be caught out very easily. The time it takes to get from there to the node could be as long as it takes to swarm you down. So it's something just to be aware of. Positioning your tower right next to a node or next to a city can be very, very useful as acting as an easy escape, and Margaret actually gains a little bit of march speed when you leave a node or a city. So it's good to position yourself near a friendly city or a node just to get away if need be. So another great thing about siege towers or engineering units is that they can actually auto fire. So if you're in a big ball situation and you're struggling to target enemies, as long as you've got War Frenzy, and you can get War Frenzy by scouting an enemy or engaging on an enemy, and I'll try and show you that. So these are actually allies, they're not enemies, but because they're in orange, you can actually scout them. This is Jack, he's in our alliance anyway. So if you click scout, this behavior will activate the War Frenzy effect. Now this will last for 15 minutes and you won't be able to put a peace shield on your city. So make sure your city is in a safe location before you do this. And obviously then you press yes, send your scout, and then you'll see up here in the top left corner, your War Frenzy has then given you 15 minutes of a timer there, and then you know you're at risk, your city's at risk. If you're not on territory, you can then be attacked. Now I'm not going to let my scout actually scout the city, I'm going to send it back, but your War Frenzy will still remain. So now if I was to set up a tower and you have an enemy within this range and it has to be fighting another troop like against your alliance member, or camp mate has to be fighting against that troop for your tower to then auto fire upon it. So as long as your enemy is within this range and it's actively fighting with an ally, you will then fire upon that troop, and that can be very useful if you can't really quite pick out other marches. You know, it can be a struggle, and obviously I started by playing on mobile. I do now have a laptop. It's not even a PC, but I do use a laptop, which can help with the fighting, although you know it still can be a struggle. But that auto firing feature, although it does have some downsides, can be extremely useful. And if you are in a good position, you can potentially just leave your tower there and you could be very lucky. And if it fights around this area and it's staying around there for a long time, you could generate a decent amount of kills in that time. Now, Siege can take some getting used to. Sometimes it takes a KVK or two to actually work out when you need to take a tower down, when you need to move it, where you need to be. But when you get the hang of it, it's actually quite fun, and it's not as boring as a lot of people say. In fact, most people say that haven't actually used a Siege March. Now, I suggest you go out and try it. There's no harm in giving it a go. But in KVK1, what I would suggest is investing in a commander like Sun Tzu. Infantry are pretty strong, especially Sun Tzu himself. He does AoE. He's a very tanky commander, and he's probably he's really one of the best commanders you could invest in as a free-to-play or low spender in KVK1. Now, if you do enjoy ranged in KVK2, you will get new commanders, new legendary commanders after KVK3. So it's not until KVK4, it's the KVK4's like starting, is when you'll be able to get hold of those new commanders, your legendary commanders. Now, I don't know who comes out first. Certain commanders will be event commanders. So Margaret, Garjamada, and Stephen were all event commanders. Now, they can't be obtained by Wheel of Fortune. They can't be obtained by MGEs. They are specific events, and you don't want to miss those if you want to get your hands on these ranged commanders. Now, the other commanders that are available when you get to KVK4, and again, I don't know exact times they're available because they do probably vary from kingdom to kingdom. Now, John Hunyadi is the first commander, the first engineering commander that's available on the MGE. That's a Mightiest Governor event. Now, he's probably one of the weakest legendary commanders that we've got right now. And, you know, he may have a future or a stronger future, but his skills, you know, they're really just vanilla. They're very vanilla skills. There's nothing special about him. He does gain some decent rage, which is very useful. And his actual talent tree is very useful too for gaining rage with Rejuvenate and the support tree. But apart from that, he's a very vanilla commander. kind of disappointing, in fact, by Lilith. But regardless of that, he is giving me some decent results. So, you know, I am happy with him, and I'm extremely happy with Steven. Steven's very good too. So the other commanders, Baber and Gonzalo de Cordoba, Gonzalo de Cordoba being the best engineering commander available right now. Those two are both available on the Wheel of Fortune. And again, it's very worth you just unlocking those commanders, even if you're not going to invest them straight away or ever. But, you know, get the opportunity just to unlock them, get those 10 heads. And yeah, then you will have to put gold heads into these commanders. That's the unfortunate thing. A lot of gold heads. They're very gold head heavy commanders if you don't want to spend a lot of gems on the Wheel of Fortune. And honestly, I don't rate the Wheel of Fortune. I just don't think you get a great amount of heads from that. So you will want to save up your gold heads for KVK 4 if you want to invest in a meta siege march, the best siege march, and you do want to max this guy really. You can actually run Margaret as a 5-1-1-1 commander with Cordoba, and that's very strong, or 5-5-1-1 obviously is even stronger. You know, you get a bit of attack, march speed, and your ranged normal damage, which actually is fantastic for running with Cordoba. So she works very well with him. So guys, I know this has been a kind of a brief engineering guide, but I hope that's been helpful for you guys that are just joining the game. And now, you may want to run melee marches too, because you're going to want to help out the field in front of your tower. Now, I'm a complete siege main, and that's just mainly because I just completely love the ranged combat in Rise of Kingdoms. I fell in love with the way it works, and just the enjoyment of basically annoying people with my towers. You know, you can do that with ranged. Now, obviously, I then started being a content creator. I started making videos on Siege, and primarily Siege, and I try and stick with this subject all the time. And this has led me down the route of only investing in Siege commanders and letting you guys know how good they are, and, you know, just doing loads of testing. I love doing testing videos too. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if you are new to me and you haven't seen my videos before, keep an eye out. You know, you might find some interesting things out about Siege and the future of Siege. So guys, it's been good to have you watching. I hope you stuck around to the end of this video, and I'll see you on the next one. This is Mr. Siege, and bye bye.